prayers of a godly man, the earnest prayers of a godly man, a righteous man, a righteous man. Now, that's the title of our message tonight. The prayers of a righteous man availeth much for the Lord. Right? Prayers of a righteous man. We are taught.
We are taught.
Right. Hashev. Hashet. Haish. She. Navi. You. We yet halel. Ba atka. We ye. We am. Inika. Yeshev. He. Mot. Tamot. The prayer, what? Oh, there's a little bit on the back side here. Atah, we call. Asher, look. James 5:16, you know. You think about that verse. The prayers of a godly man or a righteous man avails much with the Lord. And here we're going to see it apply. But we're also going to see the mind of God, the purpose of God, the love of God, and everything else all here. Something happening over there? Just clicking. How righteous are you when you've been born again? Huh? You're holy. You're holy. You were born not of this world. Now, sometimes the world looking at a child of God, I tell you, they see the mercy of God. And here we have a man here. Let's go back and look at this just a little bit. In the book of Genesis, I brought this Living Bible here tonight. I kind of like the way they paraphrase it. I believe I probably could have just brought the Jewish Publication Society and done just as well with it. In verse 1 says, Now Abraham moved south to the Negev and settled between Kadesh and Shur. One day, when visiting the city of Gerar, he remarked that Sarah was his sister. The king Abimelech sent for her and had her brought to him at his palace. Now, we look already and we know that Sarah was not dressed correctly. We know that, don't we? Sarah was dressed like a virgin, like a woman that is available for marriage, and this is wrong. This is bad. Okay? It's bad over there in the Middle East today. We are outside of that culture, and they demand that their women look like they're supposed to over there, and when a woman's married, she veils herself, doesn't she? That's the way it is. And that's the way it was way back yonder. But that night, God came to him, and this is Abimelech, in a dream, and told him, You're a dead man, for that woman that you took is married. But Abimelech hadn't slept with her. And I like what it says over here in 20 and verse 6, where it says, Uk afika apsate altes. Not I allowed you to touch her. That's what the Septuagint says. Not I allowed you to touch her. But Abimelech had not slept with her in marriage, so that he said, Lord, will you slay an innocent man? And he told me she is my sister. And she herself said, Yes, he is my brother. And I haven't the slightest intention of doing anything wrong. This is Abimelech talking to the Lord in this hypnotic dream, okay? Verse number 6 now. Yes, I know, the Lord replied. That is why I held you back from sinning against me. That is why I didn't allow you to touch her. Opto, to touch her. Verse 7. Let's look at this. And now, and now, you return. Masculine singular Hithel imperative. You return. Do this. This is a command of God now. Hashid, Eshet. Eshet, that's word for wife there. Isha. Okay. Isha is man, isn't it? Ha'ish. Ha'ish. All right. And here we have Eshet. That's his wife. That's a woman belonging to man, the man. He, because Navi. Look at that word Navi. What does Navi mean? What does Navi mean? The root of it. All right, you get your pencils out because this is very important. It means to bubble. It means to bubble. It means to ferment, like wine or beer is fermenting or bubbling, or like a spring bubbles up. All right? And the idea of that is a prophet of God is just bubbles forth. He spouts out God's Word. He prophesies. Okay? Because prophet, prophetes is what the word in the Septuagint is, prophetes, este. All right? He's a prophet. Now, what kind of a guy is this prophet? This shows forth the mercy of God and the frailness of mankind. God saved old Abraham. He saved his soul, but he hadn't quite got finished with his body yet. Because this man was still a scaredy cat. He was still afraid in a foreign land, and he was not trusting in God yet. He had not trusted in God yet. God could take care of him. We know that. You look back in your own life and see how many times God has taken care of you. Brother Harry, you told me about some things in your life. All of us, I'm sure Cindy's had some. Roger, everybody here. We've had times that God interceded and took care of us. Sometimes He has to protect us from ourselves. He's a prophet. This guy is a prophet. Now, nearly even the Muslims accept Abraham as a prophet, don't they? Christian, he is a prophet. Right here it says he's a prophet. Q, and he, and allow him to pray for you. Third person masculine singular Hithel imperfect. Allow him to keep on praying for you. This is an ungodly man. He's a liar. He just sold you his wife and lied to you about her being his sister, except it was only a small lie because she's actually his half-sister. Okay? But this is a man of God. This is a prophet. This shows you how frail human nature is. How frail it is. Allow him to keep on praying for you. For Adikah. We hear, and you shall live. You will live. If he prays for you, you will live. Let's go back in these other places I've written up here and just look at some of it just for a few moments. Now, this is where they have the idea, this is where James got the idea that the prayers of a righteous man availeth much with the Lord. Okay? There in James. All right? James 5 and 16. And that's the title of the message tonight, even from the book of Genesis. The prayers of a righteous man avails much with the Lord. Let's go back to 1 Samuel 7 and 5. 1 Samuel. I know I've got it in here. 1 Samuel 7 and 5. Now, we have the children of Israel bringing the Ark of the Covenant home. A bunch of people got killed. 50,070 people got killed. because the Lord had struck the people with a great slaughter. And the men of Bethshemesh said, "Who is able to stand before the Lord? He is a holy God. Whom shall we go up from us?" And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kerioth Jearim. Remember? Judas Iscariot, man from Kerioth. This is where it is. "The Philistines have brought back the ark of the Lord, and come down and take it to yourself." And the men of Kerioth Jearim came and took the ark of the Lord and brought it to the house of Abinadab on the hill, and consecrated Eliab and his son to keep the ark of the Lord. Now let's go on down. Now they're afraid. In verse 3, "Then Samuel spoke to all the house of Israel, saying, If you return to the Lord with all your heart, remove the foreign gods and Ashtoreth from among you, and direct your hearts to the Lord, and serve Him alone, He will deliver you from the hand of the Philistines." Now the Philistines are going to come against them, and God is just going to slaughter them. He's going to just make them babies in their hands. But it took the prophet of God to tell them that. All right? So the sons of Israel moved the Baal, okay, and the Asherah, and served the Lord alone. And Samuel said, "Gather all Israel to Mizpah, and I will do what? I will pray to the Lord for you." Now, he was a prophet of God, wasn't he? All right, he was a prophet of God. Here we have this man. And all of this stems from this verse right over here in the book of Genesis. The prayers of a godly man, a righteous man. He wasn't very godly, but he was righteous. But when God looks upon you as righteous and just and holy, you are holy as far as God sees you. He didn't see all the ungodliness in your life. Boy, I'm thankful for that, aren't you? Boy, I mean, just say hallelujah or something, because, boy, I'm glad that God doesn't see me who I really am. Ungodly people we are. First, or 2 Kings now. 2 Kings. Second Kings, the 5th chapter. My grandmother used to lick her fingers all the time and turn pages, and I never understood why people had to do that. Because little kids don't have to do that. I don't know what it is about it. They don't have to lick their fingers and turn pages. They got sweaty hands or something. Don't water. Sticky hands, maybe it's all that candy or something. I sure can have it with that. 2 Kings 5. And now Naaman, the captain of the army of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and highly respected, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria, and the man was also a valiant warrior, and he was a leper. A leper. And when you are a leper, what? Leprosy was an incurable illness. Leprosy was an incurable illness. Leprosy was kind of like cancer. Okay? Tuberculosis is greatly related to leprosy. Did you know that? Yes, it is. Incurable. The only way a man would be cured from leprosy is by divine intervention, and they knew that in the Old Testament. Okay? Now the Syrians had gone out in bands and had taken captive a little girl from the land of Israel, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said to her mistress, "I wish that my master were with the prophet." Prophet, look at that word, prophet. That's the word. What is it? Bubbler. Bubbler. Nabal. Novel. Right? The prophet who is in Samaria, that he would cure him from his leprosy, the prophet. And Naaman went in and told his master, saying, "Thus the girl spoke, is from the land of Israel." Then the king of Syria said, "Go now, and I'll send a letter to the king of Israel," and departed and took with him 10 talents of silver. Now he's going to take a lot of gold, silver. 10 talents of silver and 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothes. You know, if somebody came over your house and started giving you clothes today, you'd think that they were giving you a handout. You're going to buy your own clothes that fit, don't you? But back then, everybody's clothes fit. They had robes. And they just took a rag and wrapped it around themselves for drawers. And anything fit everybody. I mean, that's just the way it was. They just wrapped themselves up. Okay? So And the clothes were worth a lot of money back then. And these were fine clothes, I'm sure. 10 changes. All right? And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now, as this letter comes to you, behold, I have sent Naaman, my servant, to you, that you may cure him of his leprosy. He's telling the king this. Because he thinks, this is the king of this land, so he's got power. Now, let's see what the king says. And it came about when the king of Israel read the letter, that he tore his clothes, and said, Am I God to kill and to make alive? This man's as good as a dead man. God told the fellow over here in the book of Genesis, he told him, you're a dead man. You go have Abraham, this prophet, pray for you. All right? This man is sending word to me to cure a man of his leprosy. But consider now, see how he is seeking a quarrel against me? Is he going to kill me? Is this guy going to come attack me? Because I can't cure leprosy. That's not going to happen. And it happened that Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, and he sent a word to the king saying, Why have you torn your clothes? Now let him come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet, a bubbler, all right, Nabu, a bubbler in Israel. Someone that speaks forth the words. So Naaman came with his horses and his chariots and stood at the doorway of the house of Elijah. And now look and see, sometimes God's message is different than what man thinks of. The righteousness of man is so much different than what we think of. When we think about righteousness, what do you think? About some monk someplace, off in some place just keeping himself from women, some nun somewhere. That's what the world thinks about righteousness, isn't it? Somebody that's so holy that they won't even eat common food or whatever. That they don't. Back in the Dark Ages, and even today, people will go over there to the Vatican and climb up those stair steps on broken glass, cutting their hands and their knees, groveling for forgiveness. But that's not the way God saves, is it? That's not the way God forgives sin. Elijah sent a messenger to them, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored to you, and you shall be clean. Now Naaman was furious. God's plan of salvation is so much different than the world's, isn't it? God's plan of cleansing is so much different than the world. And he went away and said, Behold, I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord, his God, and wave his hand over the place and cure the lepers. Now that's what you would think too, isn't it? But that's not God's way. Ask Brother Abe, you prayed a really good prayer that we would know the mind of God, and that's the lesson tonight, to know the mind of God. How God thinks, what makes him tick. Why did he choose to save man like he is? And how come that he uses us such ungodly people as we? And yet he says we're righteous. Are not the Abana and the Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? I've been around those rivers too. I tell you what, they stink today. They got to use them up. But they were clear water. The Jordan was a muddy stream, remember? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and he went away in a rage. His face was flaring up. His face was red. His face was flaming out. In Hebrew. Then his servants came there and spoke to him and said, My father, had the prophet told you to do some great thing, wouldn't you have done it? How much more than he says to you, wash and be clean? So he went down and he dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the prophecy of the man of God, and his flesh became restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And when he returned to the man of God with all his company, and he came and stood before him and said, Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel, so please take a present from your servant. And he said, Nope. Nope. You know something? You can't buy love. Did you know that? You can't buy love. You can't buy affection. You can't buy friendship. It's impossible to buy it. And this man couldn't buy the grace of God. But there was somebody there willing to do it. He said, "The Lord lives, before whom I stand, I will take nothing." And he urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, "If not, please let your servant at least be given 2 mules load of earth, or your servant will no more offer burnt offerings nor the sacrifice to other gods, but to the Lord." We find out we have somebody that's going to take some money in here, and they get in trouble later on. Let's go on and study a little bit more. Job, the 42nd chapter. Job. Have you considered my servant Job? Remember what old Satan said? Have you considered my prophet Job? My servant Job? Job 42. Now, Job has been through a lot of trouble here. He is just absolutely, his wife has turned against him. God finally got rid of her. His children have been killed. He's lost all of his wealth and fortune. He was the richest man in the Far East at that time. Just great wealth. And he ends up being a beggar, and not only that, but loses all his health. And then his friends come and they turn against him. And they tell him, "You're an ungodly buzzard, or you would be wealthy still. You still have your wife, you still have your kids. God is judging you, and you're a no-good rat." I am glad that God had the book of Job written. Now I can understand my life a little better. Okay? And it came about after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, right? The ones before that the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, "My wrath is kindled against you and against your 2 friends, because you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has." Job was a prophet. He was above them. Okay? "Now therefore take for yourself 7 bulls and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job and offer up a burnt offering for yourself, and my servant Job will do what? He's going to pray for you." The prayers of a righteous man. Now to the world, he looked like he was an ungodly sinner that God was punishing, didn't he? But now, and Job didn't know any better either. You know, Job didn't have the book of Job to read. He didn't have the book of Job. He lived it. He couldn't read Job, the 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th chapter, to find out what in the world was going on with him. "Go to my servant Job and offer up burnt offering for yourself, and my servant Job will pray for you, and for I will accept him, so that I may not do with you according to your folly, because you have not spoken of me what is right, and as my servant Job has." All right. Well, the Lord took care of all of these. James. Now do you understand in James why it says the prayers of a righteous man prevails much with the Lord? We have to understand what righteousness is. We can call old Abraham an ungodly buzzard in so many ways. But you know something? He was righteous because God said he was. He was righteous because God had covered his sin. And you will live, and even if you are not returning, no, because dying you shall die. If you don't do what I tell you and get this ungodly guy to pray for you, he's my prophet now. My prophet. My Navi. Now you and all which to you. Cindy, will you read that in Amplified Bible or whatever? Verse 20 and verse 6. Or 7, that is. Yes, 27.
"So now restore to the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not restore her to him, you know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours."
Right? I'm going to kill you and everybody that has anything to do with it. I'm going to kill you and all your family. You're done for. If you don't listen to me and do according to my plan. Now, Naaman was mad, wasn't he? When Elisha said, "Go out and dip yourself 7 times in the river Jordan," which was a muddy hole probably right where he was there. And he said, the waters in Damascus are a whole lot cleaner, and I could have dipped myself 7 times there. But obey. Sacrifice is fine, but the Lord wants you to obey. Obey with your heart and obey with your mind. 20 and verse 8. Wayashkim Abimelech Baboker Why Yikra Mikol Abadah Why Davar Et O Ha Davarim Ha Ele Bi A Denehem Wayiru Ha Mamashim Neo. Got something making me sneeze in here. Wayashkim. Or Raythison. And rose up early. And rose up early. Third person, he rose up early. Third person, maximum singing the hit well. Wow, consecutive and perfect. And he rose up and kept on rising up Abimelech. What does Abimelech mean? Father of the king. This term, Abimelech, is a term for these people in this area from one generation to another. There were a whole lot of Abimelechs, okay? In the plowing forth of the sun, that's what it says, Baboker. Baboker means what? We find, this is the root for the word ox also. Then an ox plows. You hook a plow to an ox and you plow ground. And the breaking of the day is when the sun plows forth and breaks forth. The light breaks forth. So we have the plowing forth of the day, light. And he called and kept on calling to all his slaves, Abadah, Likol Abadah, to all his slaves. Why Daber? And he spoke harshly and loudly and with great intensity. Well, consecutive and perfect PL stem. See that word PL there? That means with a lot of force. Et, sign of the direct object. What's the cross reference in Greek? Ace. To all the words, the these. In the hearing, in the ears, in the hearing or in the ears, and they feared. They kept on fearing the men, the old exceedingly. Now he told them that God had appeared to him in a dream, in a hypnotic trance, and what God had told him. And now this prophet of God has already been dishonest with them. The prophet of God carries with him the present or the gift of life or death. So we'll just see what's going to happen. 20 in verse 9. The prophet is called on the carpet. Wayikra. Abimelech. Le'avraham. Wayomer. Lo. Neh. Asita. Lahu. Yumeh. Hatati. Go. Ki. Avita. Ale. And they kept on calling Abimelech. He kept on calling Abimelech to Abraham. And he kept on saying to, what have you done? Kept on saying to him, what have you done? Second person masculine singular, Cal perfect. What have you done to us? Lanu, to us. You mad. And what? See that word ma? Ma is what? All right? You mad and what? Is what he said. And what? Hatati. All right? And in what have I sinned? First person construct singular, cal perfect. In what way have I sinned against you? What? Because habita. Because you have brought in upon me ale. We all. Mama lati. Hata'a. Idolah. Ma'asim. Asher. Bo. Yasu. Asita. Imamadi. Right. And upon my mamaleka, mamalaki, and my kingdom, sin, tata. Now that word, it starts with an H there, but you can put a C with that also, right in front, chata. This is chata means what? What does chata mean in Hebrew? Page 306, it means to miss the mark. There's the word to miss the mark. There's where they made the mistakes when they brought it into Hamartia, okay? You brought in my kingdom to miss the mark. Great! Idolah. Great. We have sinned great. There's great sin. And it says, ma'asim, and deeds. All right? Work, labor. And labor which not should have been done. Not should have been done. Woe is not, that adverb of negation there, page 519. And then we have third person masculine, plural, hitel, imperfect, which should not have been done or kept on being done. And he said, you have done with me. And in the Septuagint it says, apagages, epi kai, epi, pain, basilion, mu, hamartion, megalane. You have brought upon me and upon my kingdom sin great. You caused us a great sin. Now this is the prophet of God that he's talking to. All right? Prophet of God. He's upset. He's not sure what Abraham's going to do, but he wants Abraham to know something, that you brought terrible sin upon my people, and we are innocent. Wayomer, Abimelech, El, Abraham, Mach, Ra'iti, Ki, Asita, Et, Ha-Davar, Hazeh. And he said and kept on saying, Abimelech, boy, this is a long speech here, unto Avraham. Can you say that Avraham right yet? It rolls that R. Avraham. Avraham. Mah. Va'ita. What? You have seen. Second person masculine seen or cal perfect. Because you have done, asita, second person masculine singular, cal perfect. You have done, at sign of the direct object, this thing. This terrible thing, this davar. Remember now when I talked about the word davar? Davar means what? Huh? It means word, but it also means what? To line up in a row. It means a statement. It means a thing. It means an object. An object that you could set one thing wrong. He said, you have planned an evil and you have plotted. That's what the word means, to set up a plot. Have you ever had anybody set up a plot against you? Marilyn, you ever had anybody plot against you? Anybody ever laid a trap for your life? Yeah. Criminals do things like that. Randall, have you ever been in death's jaws before because somebody laid a trap for you? Or did you get by through this world just so easily? I've had people hire killers hits on me. I had a man call and threaten to burn my house down one time while I was gone. Kill my children. Had my wife fill out a credit card in my name and try to get a hitman to kill me. I've had all kinds of little weird things. This is the word right here. To line up things, to lay a plot, to set a plan, one step at a time. He said, look at the plan. Look at this terrible thing, this plot. The plot this. Hazeh. The this. All right. 20 and verse 11. How does that start out? Wayomer. Avraham. Ki. Hamarti. Rock. En. Yirat. Elohim. Ba'makum. Hazeh. Waharakuni. Olam. Devar. Ashti. All right. And he kept on saying, Abraham, because I have said. Because I have said only, surely. Not fear. Elohim, God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. Look at this word for Elohim here. Everybody, every nation's got an Elohim. Elohim means creator. In the book of Genesis, in Genesis 1 and so on, it says, Barashit, Bara, Elohim, Hashemayim, V'yeh Haaretz. And God created the heavens and the earth. And created God the heavens and the earth. That's the creator. This is the creator. So don't worry. I know the creator. In place the this, Hazeh. And they would kill me upon word, my wife. All right? Cindy, are you back there? Can you go back and read these last 2 or 3 verses in that Amplified Bible?
Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, What have you done to us? And how have I offended you, that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? You have done to me what ought not to be done to anyone. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What did you see in us that justified you in doing such a thing as this? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely there is no reverence or fear of God at all in this place, and they will slay me because of my wife.
All right. I didn't think that the fear of God was in this place, and I thought you were all a bunch of heathens and atheists. That's why I acted like I did. 20 and verse 12. We're getting along pretty good here today, aren't we? Wadam. Amina. Achiti. Bat. Avi. He. Ak. Lo. Bat. Imi. Watihi. The Isha. All right. And also, with, that's and then gam is also, we gam, and also, amenah. Look at this word amen there. That's where I get our word amen, is out of that word. Amenah. And truly, amen, my sister, surely, truly, amen, my sister, achiti. Remember there, aki, achi, that's the word for brother, and here achiti is for sister, okay, because of the tau in it. Bat, avi. She is of the house, she is a daughter of the house of my father. And she only, not house of my mother, and became to me for a wife. In other words, she's my half-sister. She is my half-sister. My mother is not her mother, but my father is her father. Okay? That's what he's saying here. So she's my half-sister. All right? 20 and verse 13. Wahi, Ka-Eshur, Hitu, Oti, Elohim, Nibet, Avi, Wayomer, Law, Zeh, Hasek, Asher, Taasi, Imadi, El, Al, Hamakum, Asher, all right, Nahu, Shama, Imri, Lee, Achi, Hugh. Go back and look at this now. Trotting right along. And it became. See that word right there? And it became. Now this is the word right there in Genesis 1 and 2. And the earth she became. And it became. All right? When caused to wander. Third person corporal plural Hiphel perfect. Had caused to wander me, Elohim, the Creator. It's Theos in the Septuagint. From house, Mebeth. See that word meh there front? That's a preposition. Out of or from. From house. All right, Beth. Mebeth. From the house of my father. And I said, and kept on saying to her this, your kindness. Look at that word, tashdek. Your righteousness, your kindness, your grace, which you shall do and keep on doing with me unto every the place, hamakom, unto every, call is every, call is all or every, Ashur, which we come into, Navu, toward there, Shama, after the place, you say of me, Achi, brother, he. All right? Hotia delphos mu este. That's what it says in the Septuagint. Because brother of me he is. Genesis 12, 1 through 9, and 12 and 13, and 20 and verse 5, all cross-reference to this. Now I have a little note written down here at the bottom. This is the very reason is why all the nations in this area know the story of Abraham to this very day. Did you know that? You can go over there among all the Arab nations, all of the Bedouins that live out in this area today, and then you can ask them, what about Abraham? Even if Abraham was not the witness to these people that he should have been, God calls them to fear the God of Abraham.
Fear as in afraid or fear as in respect?
Fear as in afraid and fear as in respect. Both. They were to fear God. They were to fear the God of this prophet. Because this is an imperfect man. This is an imperfect man, but his God is perfect and his God is powerful. Right? 20 and verse 14. Wayikah Abimelech Son Abadim Oh, you Voker. You Voker. All right. We Abadim. Okay. How did I write that down there incorrectly? Change that. It shouldn't be there. You Voker. You Voker. I do make mistakes.
No.
We Abadim. What? Oh, thank you. See, I don't have an editor. We're our own editor. All right? There you go. You Boker. We Abadim. You say so hot. We Yitken. La Abraham. Wife Yashev. Lo, Et, Sarah, Ishto. All right. Wayikah. And he kept on taking Abimelech. And he kept on taking flocks, goats and sheep. That's what these is, probata. All right? Goats and sheep, these are small domestic animals. Okay, this isn't cows right here. This is the small ones. This is sheep and goats, okay? Sheep and goats are probata. Probata in Greek, in the Septuagint, is sheep, basically. But we know it's goats and sheep from Hebrew. It's the song. And when they translated it, that should have been goats and sheep. That's what it should say. Goats and sheep. Flocks of goats and flocks of sheep. And Uvoker and herds. This word, this herds here is of large cattle, the ones to plow with. See, Voker? Voker means to plow. Okay? Plowing animals, large, domesticated ox and cows. Okay? Avadim. And male slaves. All right, male slaves. Avadim. And Yusifat. All right? And female slaves. All right? This may be where old Hagar come in on the scene, maybe. And he kept on giving. Why, yet 10, he kept on giving to Abraham, Abraham. And he returned to him Sarah, his wife. Okay. Now he gives Sarah, his wife, back to him. Evidently, she must have been a pretty woman. She was old, but she was pretty. Not only that, she was letting her face hang out. She was not covered. She was not veiled like a wife should be veiled. She did not have the ring in her nose that she should have had that showed that there was authority over her, that she had a husband. She was not dressed right. And Abraham and Sarah were not honest with Abimelech. They were righteous in God's eyes, but they were not honest. Okay? What?
I have a question about Abimelech.
Yeah.
What kind of man was he? Because he listened to the dream, and he said, "Hey, I'm not to him."
He said, "I'm an honest man." And God didn't argue with him about it, did he? I'm a believer. God didn't argue with him about that. But he argued with him about one thing, didn't he? You're about to die. I have a prophet in your land. And if you don't listen to him and ask him to pray for you, you're going to be a dead man tomorrow. As simple as that. Because that is my will. I have chosen this man. He may not be perfect, Abimelech, but he's my prophet. And you better respect him. You better believe me. And did Abimelech follow God's will? Yeah. Did all of his people believe? They all trembled and shook and they feared God. Okay? All right. So that's the kind of person that he was.
But why did he give him all the animals?
All right.
Abraham should have given him something.
This was his dowry for Sarah. He was going to give all these animals to him anyway. This is what he was going to give for this woman. This is how you make peace with somebody. You come in here and you got a beautiful daughter or whatever, or sister. Is he your pretty sister? So I'd like to have her. She's pretty. Her face is hanging out real pretty. I know that she's single and everything else. So I will give you this here. And he was, Abraham was a rich man anyway, but now he's going to get a lot richer. Remember, he already been down to Egypt and he had got a bunch of animals down there, didn't he? He got a lot of silver and gold and whatever, Yes, brother.
When I was in Africa, a wife was 10 cows.
10 cows. That's what it costs. 10 cows. 10 cows.
That's all? Just 10?
Hey,
They weren't very pretty.
Cows weren't very pretty or joy?
Well, maybe both of them. Wyomer, Abimelech, Kene, Otzi, Lafanika, Batol, Enika, Sher. And he said, and kept on saying, Abimelech, behold, Hene, behold, my land. The word Haaretz, this is Artsy. My land. Mark, see, my land. Before your face. Before your faces. Laphanika. Before your faces. Wherever you look, that's my land. You look that way, it's my land. You look that way, it's my land. You look that way, it's my land. You look behind, that's my land. Wherever you look. Look from all your faces, all four faces. North, south, east, and west. Look around. This is my land. And then he says, Batov. In good. In good. Tov is good. When the Lord said He did this, He did that, and He said that He saw that it was good. It became good. Okay? It became good. Tov. Good. Hareske is what it is in the Septuagint. In your eyes. You dwell. Whatever is in your vision. Whatever you see out there, you just dwell any place you want to. You go on and dwell. You go out there and you kata oike. Kata oike. You make a house. You down house there. Now, tonight I brought some books. By the way, this is what the Analytical Hebrew and Chaldee Lexicon by Davidson looks like today. If you go down to one of these bookstores, this is what the book's going to look like right here. All right? That's what the cover. Remember, I bought the old beat-up looking blue covered one. Well, this is what the modern one. I even bought one modern. My other one was falling apart, and I wanted to get one of these because these were hard to get for a long, long time. You couldn't find one. That's Davidson. That's the Analytical Hebrew and Chaldee Lexicon. Brown, Driver, and Briggs, that worn out one right there. That's what I cross-reference all this to. And then the Septuagint, the Apostolic Bible, has the Greek New Testament and the Greek Old Testament, the Septuagint. And if you study and you get into Greek and in Hebrew, you need to look at both numbers to see what it says comparatively. What is the oldest? Until 1948, what was the oldest scriptures we had in the world? What were the oldest scriptures we had? What is the oldest Old Testament scriptures we had until they discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls? The Septuagint. The modern Hebrew Bible was translated from the Greek Septuagint, so you need to go back and look at the Greek Septuagint to see. Okay, now we have got better manuscripts today because they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, and basically they've got nearly all of the Old Testament scriptures. And they didn't do too bad of a job guessing and putting them together. All right? 20 and verse 16. 20 and verse 16. Yule Sarah, Amar, Ene, Natati, Eleth, Kesef, La, A, Sheik, Ene, Du, Lot, Kesut, actually Kesut, Ena, Yim, Likol, Asher, Gitah, Rieth, Kol, We, Ro, Cha, Ta. And to Sarah, he had something to say. And to Sarah, he had said, Behold, I give, what? 1,000 silver to your brother. Behold, it for you to buy a veil. Cover up yourself, old gal. Look like a virgin. Don't look like a virgin. Run around here acting like a virgin when you're a married woman. Buy a veil for your face. I'm going to give you 1,000 pieces of silver to buy you a real fancy veil. Buy you a silver one or a gold one, whatever you want. Put something over your face. A covering for your eye. To all which with you and all and you are. All right. And you are. justified. All right. She was reproved and corrected by this man. He said, in all things that you do, be truthful. Kai panta alith disown. Be truthful in all the things. Cover up your flirting eyes. Cover up your flirting eyes. Cindy, would you go back there and read that for me? What, 14 and 15 and 16?
Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham and restored to him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before you, dwell wherever it pleases you. And to Sarah he said, Behold, I have given this brother of yours 1,000 pieces of silver. See, it is to compensate for you for all that has occurred, and to vindicate your honor before all who are with you, before all men you are cleared and compensated.
All right, justice has been done. Go buy yourself a veil. Cover your eyes up, your flirting eyes. And it says here, it says, look my kingdom over and choose a place where you'd want to live. And the king told him. Then he turned to Sarah and said, look, he said, I am giving your brother 1,000 pieces for damages for what I did to compensate for any embarrassment and settle any claim against me regarding this matter. Now justice has been done. Justice has been done. Justice has been done. Now go out and buy yourself a covering for your eyes. Go out and buy yourself a covering for your eyes. 20 and verse 16 now. 20 and 17. 20 and 17. Wayit Palel. Lord, it's something around here clouding up my lungs. Wayit Palel Abraham El Ha Elohim. Why Yirpah. Yirpah, that is. Elohim Et Abimelech Wiet Ishto We Amhato Wayelidu. And he prayed Abraham, and he kept on praying Abraham. Third person masculine singular hit fail, wow, consecutive and perfect. Hallel, that means pray. Abraham unto God, unto the God. It's not just God there, unto the God. And he healed. All right? And he kept them healed. Now, God must have done something to these people. We know that it said that God had shut up the women's wombs. They've closed them up. I mean, they were closed. Okay? And now it says God healed and kept them healed, God, the Abimelech, and his wife, and his concubine. And they conceived, and he opened their wombs. Third person masculine plural, cow, wow, consecutive, imperfect. 20 and verse 18. 20 and 18. He, Atzor, Atzar, all right, Halavar, Yod, Call, Rehem, that's a Rechem there, see that word? That's a check. Rechem, Lavet, Abimelech, All, Devar, Sarah, Yiseth, Abraham. Because closing, he had closed Jehovah, the entrance. He closed the woman's entrance to the wombs. They didn't have no entrance to the wombs. When they went to cover their wives, there was no entrance to the womb. Things changed. They knew exactly that something was wrong. All right? They knew something was wrong. All the entrance to all their wombs. To the house, Levet, to the house of Abimelech. Upon the, now look at this word devar there. What do you think that means here? Here it means because of the plot, because of the plans. All right? The plot or the plans are on the account of what Abraham and Sarah had done. The plot that they had plotted. Sarah, wife of Abraham. And it says, Nick Lesay had closed up Kyrios, the Lord, the outside of all of the wombs, the matron, all right, of these women. This was a miracle. They knew exactly. He had to touch this woman, but he couldn't even cohabit with his wife. They had no entrance to the womb. God had closed them up. Do you know that something happened? Something happened. They knew something happened. Okay? Wyvavar, Pakad, Et, Sarah, Kaashur, Amar, Wa'as, Halabar, Le Sarah, Kaashur, Dever. Look at how many times the word Devar is used. Look at how many different ways and how many ways. In Hebrew, the Hebrew language in many ways is much more restricted than Greek is. How many words do we have for word in Greek? Or statement or whatever. What are they? Lego, laleo, reo. All of these mean something. Reo is a flowing, it is a statement, it is a edict. Laleo means something that is spoken with your lips and your mouth by human. It is produced by human beings. And then lego means to set in a row words, kind of like the word devar does. Okay. All right. And Jehovah. Look here. La devar. And Jehovah. He had visited Sarah according as he had said, and he performed Jehovah to Sarah according as he had spoken. All right? What did he do? Are you ready to put there and start next week on the next one? 21 verse 2? You want another one, or what do you want? One more? Is that enough? That's good right there. We'll start in 21 and verse 2 next week then. All right? This is the last day of this month, isn't it? That we'll be here. All right. The Hebrew just doesn't leave anything out. It just tells you the way it is. and the English translations, many times it glosses over or covers over. Hebrew just makes it plain what's going on. Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk about these things, but that's what it says. Speaks it out. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your endurance of those hard seats and for being here tonight. Go out and do something eternal. Brother Roger, would you dismiss us in prayer, please, brother?
Thanks, Father, for allowing us to be here and study the Word. Thank you for the insight that Dr. Phillips has shared with us. And hopefully we can gain some insight into how this applies to our own lives and go and do good work. In Jesus' name, amen.
Remember one thing, the prayers of a righteous man availeth much to the Lord, even if he's not the righteous before men. He's still righteous before God.